let's do this. What's up, long players? Welcome back to the Long Play listening party. You know the drill. Drew, Tim, Travis, we're still hanging out. We are going to be listening to the 2005. Is it 2005?
2004.
2004 Rent Money Big album, Proper Flesh Suit. This is the kind of one official big LP of Tim and Drew's college band. A band that I loved. I did not know either of you guys personally, sort of back then. We did play one or two shows. I remember that house show, like north of the stadium that we played together. But anyway, I told Drew.
Ralphie, what was the house?
I have no idea.
It's the house on Holdridge.
Ralphie versus the Sunset House?
Ralphie
Maybe. That sounds familiar.
Yeah. Marco, shout out to Marco.
It had the
Floriani.
We played in the living room.
Yep. But
shout out to Jeremy from Think Mule on the cover art.
Okay, cool. So I'm for the video watchers, I'm holding up the cover art. So I had graduated college in May of 2004 and moved to Minneapolis. But I was coming back every month basically to see my girlfriend at the time. And I have a distinct memory of going to Homer's downtown to buy a bunch of records, including this one. So that's how I got my copy of Proper Flesh Suit. This is a record that I love. This is a record that I took back to Minneapolis. And even I remember specifically later that year, well, early 2005, I guess, sitting on the dock at the house where I rented a room and writing riffs. And I wrote two riffs I was super excited about because they reminded me of Rent Money Big riffs. And I was like, oh, this is incredible. Like, this stuff is sinking in. And those are, I'm going to blank on the song names. Mars Lights has recorded one of them and has a demo of the other one. So, like, it's kind of come almost full circle to where then, like, Corey hooked me up with Drew later, and made so much music and been friends for so long and everything. But so I've got like, I guess my point is I come to this record as a huge fan. And that's why I'm excited to listen to it with you guys and talk about it a little bit and just hang out. I do want to read the credits, which is going to be hard in this light, but they're short and I think it's some useful background information that might jog some memories. So here we go. Track 6 was recorded at the Laboratory in Lincoln, Nebraska in January 2004. That would be Killer Bees the Size of Cats.
That was Nick Westra's basement.
All right. Everything else recorded in Emerson Recital Hall at Nebraska Wesleyan University in May 2004.
Shout
all tracks,
WU.
Yeah. All tracks engineered and mixed by Nick Westra. They were then mastered by Doug Van Sloan at Studio B in June 2004. And they will be enjoyed for all eternity. Nate's Shotgun says all these songs recordings are copyrighted. Art direction designed by, and it's left blank.
It is?
Yeah.
Jeremy at Think Mule.
Let's try. Can I get it?
Wow.
It's not going to focus.
Did we fuck that up, or did he do that on purpose? I've never noticed that.
I don't remember that.
Yep, pretty great. So we can just talk. We can talk about whatever, but here we go. The idea of a white Jesus.
Tim, I think we came up with this song almost 20 years ago exactly.
Really? 20 years ago?
Yeah. It would have been summer of 2003.
I remember, my dad being a retired Methodist minister. I think Drew and I in high school going back and forth. He was the one that first kind of turned to me and said, I don't know if Jesus is white, man. And I just remember thinking, and for years, I think we even years later were watching TV and Discovery had a picture of him from the Middle East. I'm like, oh, of course. How did I not make this connection that there's the Romans painting this guy to relate to the Romans?
But it was a pretty mind-blowing thought in semi-rural Nebraska in 2004.
Jesus is not white; he's from the Middle East, and that's the whole song, basically. Oh, and basically the whole idea of the song is everyone has the hero's journey. Everyone's the Jesus in their own Bible, kind of thing, And that's the point. And so, no offense to religions out there, but that's the journey is, and religions help people get there too sometimes, but it's just figuring out your journey. That's the whole idea.
Yeah, if you're
I know.
Tim,
I just started recording.
Where's this keyboard? Do you still have this keyboard? What happened to it?
I did not. It broke several keys. It was probably several broken keys while we recorded. But I remember we
stood on it on stage at Knickerbockers
several times. Stood on several things. But here I remember recording the keyboard in the. It's a little amphitheater in the basement of Wesleyan. I convinced the security guards that I had a reason to be there. They were all friends of mine for various reasons. And then we siphoned off the off stage, the stage left. We put blankets and pillows from the lobby and just made a little sound booth for my little keyboard we put through it. It's like a little Casio piece of junk you put on the organ sound. It sounded amazing. A little distortion on it.
Why did Hawaii?
I don't, Drew, I've been thinking about this for a long time. We recorded in Nick's basement, recorded the whole album. I recorded vocals in the stairwell. I don't remember being part of the conversations as to why we wanted to record everything else, except Killer Bee sounded great.
Yeah, Killer Bee sounded good, and we didn't think we could do better. I think Joe and Mike just thought that it sounded kind of flat. I don't know. Everything was done in a basement, so it was really dry. And so then we went and did the opposite and recorded in an auditorium on campus. And running through the timeline here is kind of eye-opening. I can't believe how much we did in a short amount of time. We wrote all this stuff basically in, I don't know, a matter of 9 months in 2003.
Yep.
And then we recorded the whole album twice in the first 6 months of 2004. And then it came out, we got CDs in July of 2004. So
basically, the guys put them on their credit card.
Yeah,
we're their one and only Someday Never. Yeah. Shout out to Someday Never.
We killed a record label.
Single-handedly.
I mean, yeah, we were not good at doing much other than just writing the music and having fun.
You and I made some killer websites.
What is good? The verse riff on this song fucking rules. It's such a Drew riff, and I love it. I love this song. I love this riff so much.
Lyric, Landslide Architect, Will. This is a Will Holmes lyrics, right? Drew?
Yeah, I think Will. Well, Will came up with the title and the concept.
He wrote the lyrics too, I think.
He conceptualized it as being about a superhero, a comic book character named Landslide Architect who would summon landslides telekinetically or something.
There's another keyboard.
Yeah, it's that same keyboard with I think you had an old a big green small stone phaser.
That's right.
I wish we still had that. That's probably worth something now. But no, I was saying we were not good at the logistics of being in a band because we I mean, first of all, we recorded this whole thing in overnight in one session. And so we didn't have a lot of time to, get the takes. We just kind of played through it until it felt like we didn't have any big takes. And then we went through and overdubbed guitars, bass, vocals. I remember Nate and I recorded together on that stage for like the main tracks. And I remember walking out of there like at 7 or 8 in the morning after having been up all night.
We pushed all the couches in there, and it was wild. It was wild.
I think you fell asleep.
You left me in there. You guys left me in there on the couches. I forgot about that.
We picked up the couch while you were sleeping on it, and we left it out in the hall for the security guards to find you.
They, of course, were like, Tim, you said you'd be done by midnight. I'm like, oh, yeah. They left me here, those pranksters.
But, I mean, like, how
silly goose.
It's so...
I forgot about that.
Dudes rock for us to, like, be told, you guys can do better. Why don't you take a little more time and do it? And, of course, our solution was to just do it all in one night.
So you tracked everything live, but then replaced some stuff, or what were you saying about overdubbing?
Nate did the drums, I did the guitar, like the core guitar tracks.
Okay.
And he and I recorded that together. And then I immediately went through and did like one overdub on guitar on every song. And then Will started overdubbing bass. I don't know why we did it all in this order, but we made Tim go last.
That makes sense.
Well, that makes sense, yeah.
Well, his name is Skyhill. It comes later.
Yeah. Quick note about this song. This song's basically written because of your delay pedal, right? JFK VD is the but Drew had this really cool delay thing he was doing.
I don't remember.
And then
you used to let a DD20, didn't you, on this record?
I still have that DD20.
And then so the song idea, I think, is Drew's idea, and I sort of ran with the lyrics of, what was it?
It was probably drinking
JFK having
PBR
VD.
or something, and somebody said, "Hey, let's write a song called JFK VD because he had a lot of VD," and so we did.
I don't remember the metaphor, but I made it work.
I love, so this one really kind of shows the Stooges influence, I think, and I fucking love the little riff that comes in on the back half of the verse, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Just like, so good.
Thank you. So I think about this song from time to time and kind of have a... I don't know, I somehow managed to write an entire song without ever changing out of just like a droning D chord with I mean, there's like some pedal tone stuff going on under the keys, but like the whole thing is just like it's all in G. I didn't know what I was doing.
You can really hear the amphitheater on the vocals.
Yeah, the amphitheater. The auditorium sounded good.
Auditorium.
It was like the decision to record it there was good. Execution was not bad. It's just we did a whole LP in one night.
Yeah.
Because I think we were trying to get it in time for tour, which we didn't even manage to do. Travis gone.
There he is.
So we tried to have the CDs in time for tour, but appropriately, we missed the deadline, and then we were handed boxes and boxes of CDs the day that we got home from tour. So, yeah.
Perfect timing, always.
Yeah. That whole
right
tour,
when you need it.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were supposed to go out for like a second leg of the tour, but we came back completely broke, and we couldn't afford.
Have you ever come back from a tour with money? He said you got $5 that one time.
Haircuts was the only.
no,
You got
I-
$5 that one time.
I overdrew my checking account in California.
I think I still owe my dad
Man.
$9,000 or something.
Seriously?
Something
Yeah,
like
You
that.
have to
his
sit down
dad
and
had
talk
to-
to your dad, man.
like,
You have
We
a
spent
conversation
all
with
of our
Pops.
money on the first 2 van breakdowns, and then it
Yeah.
broke down a third time in Arizona, and
Okay.
like, you know,
Yes, they do.
it was either we borrow some money and get home, or we just live in Arizona.
Yeah.
It's not a bad place, you know.
Yeah.
I think one of our
High
friends,
desert's okay.
one of our friends,
It's beautiful out there.
Jim Schroeder, called in, and we were like, "Hey, we need some advice, Jim." He said, "If God's your co-pilot, you need to switch seats."
Why? You want God to be your pilot?
Yeah, because we were not piloting well.
Okay, so
Hard to argue with the
okay,
result.
never mind.
So
You wanna
yeah,
talk
we
about
were
codes and
a
laws and
bunch.
algebra?
We were
I'm
a
just
bunch
thinking of
of
the autopilot from the airplane right now who's getting like a blowjob from the like be able to fly the plane. I'm sorry, that's all I can see right now.
From
Tim,
the movie
go
Airplane.
ahead. Or yeah, I'm sorry. Whoever. The last. I apologize.
It's hard to overstate what a bunch of incompetent chuckle fucks we were.
That's lovely.
I thought I was so smart too. It's so funny looking back.
But we had
This
fun.
song specifically, we had a lot of fun. You know, and I recently converted all of our what little tour footage we actually shot and like local show footage, and did a little 20th anniversary video a year late, so it's 21st anniversary technically.
Oh, is that on? Will you send me that, Tim? I'd love to see that and link
Sure.
to it.
Yeah, it's on my website. While I was laid off, I was like, I gotta produce something here, so I made it during that, but I'll send it over to you. But there's a lot of fun stuff in there. This breakdown's really fun. I don't remember. This one of the songs we cut pretty early because it got annoying, but it was a good track.
I feel like
Definitely
everything's so
missing songs.
fast. All the songs are very fast. Like if
Yeah.
you guys just like slow down a little bit, you know,
We
and
didn't
like
ever slow down. I don't
We
think.
didn't ever slow
Like-
down. We were just kind of a blast of
No dynamics, just fire hose.
We were
Just
just
if you-
we were like
but if
20.
you had though, if you just slowed down a little bit and been a little bit more mellow, like maybe you
Maybe
could have captured the Christian group, you know what I mean? I'm sorry.
Maybe the van wouldn't have broken down.
Yeah, the band. Yeah.
All I just say is yes. Play it
Yeah,
as
no,
fast
we
as-
were
play it as
just
fast as you can.
20 to 22 years old. And,
Lovely. Absolutely lovely.
Yeah, you know, we sounded like a bunch of 20 to 22 year olds.
No, I love it. Like honestly, like why Tim, why I wanted Tim, or why I picked him over other people, was because of the recordings that you guys had. I was like, this shit's fucking. I love this. This is great. Yeah, I want that guy in this band. You know, he totally gets it. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I remember the live
Listening
sets.
to this, yeah.
What I remember of the live sets is exactly like Tim said. I mean, a fire hose and just through really great moves, like art damaged rock moves, you know, not like fucking, I don't know, making the guitar a gun or anything, but just like just like crazy energy, hair flying everywhere. Tim coming out into the crowd, rolling around on the floor, swinging the microphone around, like all of it.
I will, there's two things I want to say about our dance moves. The first thing is, I think Drew and I think we stole all of our dance moves from the Big Lebowski. I think that's my opinion.
Really.
You know how the shoe, he's dancing down the stairs with the shoes twisting. Everything's based from that. Literally everything. The other thing is, at the very end of Rent Money Big, I think we had just played a reunion show at New Year's Eve. I sat at Duffy's and had a beer, and Javid from Bright Come Blue and Javid and several other amazing Lincoln, Nebraska bands sat next to me and said, "Hey, I have something to tell you. You wore baggy pants way too much. We could never see your dance moves. Why didn't you wear tighter pants?" And right in that moment, I went, "I don't know. I have no. I think because Drew and I liked Wu-Tang a lot, I thought that's what my pants needed to be 2 inches below my belt waist."
It was pre-skinny jeans. Yeah, it was before the time.
We were children of the 90s, so
obviously
I like Jenkos a lot.
You have a large waist area, like in the genitals. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah,
gotta hold my. I have something to hold my pants up with.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
We're halfway through.
Armadillos in our trousers.
What?
Trouser-dillo.
No.
We're halfway through, and the inverse is also correct.
This is another Will
Dillo time.
Yeah, let's talk about Will and Nate a little bit. Will on bass and Nate on drums.
Yeah,
let's start. Etymology.
This is the Vincent Price chords.
That's right.
I was trying to tell. I'm taking guitar lessons for the first time since I was in 8th grade.
Jerry Vanderheide, man.
Second shout out to Jerry Vanderheide. But I was trying to explain to my guitar teacher this chord that I came up with.
I love the idea that you just said, I was trying to explain to my guitar teacher the chord that I came up with. What a beautiful start to anything. Yeah. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Go on.
But no, I was trying to remember what the Vincent Price chord consisted of. I was drawing a blank at the time. I think I might be able to play it now. But it used like all 6 strings. And
to talk about Will has a great mind for history. And I'd say lines like
what is the C7 minor augmented to 8th?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Add 11.
Yeah. Diminished.
For all the podcast listeners, I just made a motion of air going right over my head.
I don't know what I said. I don't even know the words that I said. I'm just repeating things I've heard, like a good human.
One thing I want to say about lyrics and Rent Money Big is being the front man. I loved writing and stuff, but I always tried to get everybody to write, especially Will, because he had such a, I'd say, Venus flytrap mind for history. Yeah. And so, inverse is also correct. If you listen to it, it's dumb as hell. I think there's even a cancellation, our only cancellation lyric, I think, is if you
don't get us canceled.
Yeah, if you ski too much, if you spend too much time on the slopes, you get ski-tarded, I think is what Will wrote. So I'm blaming Will. So Will's getting canceled.
Hey, you know what? I'm sorry, but retard is a word. It's a beautiful word.
That's right.
It means slow down. It's
but
fine.
Other than that lyric, this song is dumb and amazing.
So you were trying to slow down while
that's my favorite thing about Will's lyrics is, the inverse is also correct. The wrong thing in life makes the right thing possible. And, Will and I would always talk about dualism and its trappings, for better or worse, and in our lyrical talkings. But I loved involving Will because he wrote crazy things like this, and the music just fits it too. It just clicks right in.
This also has the lyric without a will, you ain't got no groove. Darren Dean always
I really dig
that back
shit.
at me.
I love it. That's all I want to say. I'm sorry to interrupt right now, but Will,
That's fine.
like, I really, really love this stuff. Like, it's like I haven't heard it a lot. You've heard it a lot more than I have.
Mhm.
But like the Rent Money Big stuff. It's great. It's really, really good, man. And like great songwriter, like great lyrics, great energy, all everything about it. Like I love all of it, man. Like it's as much as I love having Tim in the band right now playing bass. I wish you guys were like doing this right now.
Oh, I know. I do miss. I wish we were still doing it.
And the good news, and I want to hear what Drew was trying to say a second ago too, but Travis, the good news is, while this is like sort of the only LP, there's quite a bit of other material in different EPs and things. And the Family Huddle EP in particular, like you've gotta check out. So good.
Well, what Tim has sent me, like how I was introduced to Tim, I like all of it. Like I was like, yeah, this is fantastic. This is great. I love this stuff, and it's too bad this it's not like continuing at the moment. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Lives on in my heart. What were you trying to say earlier, Drew?
Oh, no, I was just calling attention to the without a will. You got no
Oh yeah, you got no Drew. That's right.
Which, I
from the inverse.
Darren is always quoting that back at me. Like, I don't know. For 20 years, Darren has been saying that.
Yeah, so I guess to explain that further, the inverse is also correct as the lyric is referencing. And I think I added that into Will's song, into Will's lyrics, because without a will, there's no. What's the official, the referential?
Without a will, there's no way.
Without a will, there's no way. So without a will, there's no Drew. Again, very dumb, but means so much to me personally. You want to talk about killer bees the size of cats, Drew?
Where did that title come from? Did Paul Bonk?
You know, I just heard last night on a podcast. I don't know. Must have been. But killer bees was a Murdoch thing. Whatever paper he bought in the early 90s in San Francisco or San Diego somewhere, they made up killer bees being an issue.
Yeah,
the killer bees from Mexico?
Because he's from Australia, and the Australian killer bees, of course, is like, oh, hey, let's spread this to America. Make it happen.
Weren't actually a problem.
No. No.
Agenda panic.
Exactly. The beginning of Fox
News.
News.
Like lettuce is not a problem.
So this is the one that we did record in Nick's basement. You know, Nick Wester was a genius.
Yeah, this one turned out good.
Talk more about Nick, Drew.
Howie, did you ever see Crush the Clown?
Sure, I did. I don't have a specific memory, but yeah.
Wait. Say it again. See what now?
Crush the Clown.
What is it?
Crush. It was a band from
Lincoln Band.
Back when.
All right.
Contemporaries of what you're hearing now. But so Nick was a really good songwriter, guitar player in his own right, but like he recorded a lot of bands of that era, and
very soft-spoken.
Yeah, he's pretty chill, laid-back dude.
But then would write these amazing, punchy-in-the-face songs.
Very quiet. Unless he was like performing his song. Interesting guy. I haven't seen him in a long time. I don't know why.
Is he? I feel like I don't want to speak out of turn. My favorite Nick moment, real quick. We were recording a super loud song, like loud as hell. Probably Killer Bees. I don't know. I think Drew, maybe you were just tracking over it, but it was loud as hell. You had all your amps on, and I'm going, "Great track, Drew! Awesome!" I think I nailed that. I turn around, Nick's just dead asleep like this.
Yeah, because we were always recording late at night.
2 a.m.
Like, so we were. This is the funny thing. Like, we spent weeks working on this record at his house, trying to get the takes right, and then we ended up
doing it all one night,
doing it all over again in one night. And we're like, yeah, this is the one we're gonna keep.
That's just how it works somehow, and like
It is exactly how it works.
the grind of like doing all those weeks also like informs that's like practice
the moment,
in a way.
Oh, the
like,
scream!
All of the
Didn't you
studying
scream
informs
into
the
your
moment.
guitar, Drew?
Yeah, so I used Nate like an old Silvertone guitar that Nate had, and it had microphonic pickups. And in the moments before we tracked this song, we realized that we could all hear ourselves talking through the pickup. So
Nice.
the intro to that song is like, I think I looped me screaming into that pickup.
And then you can hear it at the very end there at the last.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I put it through like a DL4 or something. And yeah, it's just there at the beginning and the end. This whole fucking band was so insane. Like it was just like a burst of energy, and then it was over, you know, like that. This album's like a half hour long, and it was just like we kind of put everything we had into every second of playing and being in that band. And
As
like
you should.
I remember like we got shit from the prominent local music critic for like not having more dynamics in our music, and like not having quiet songs and not writing hooks. And it was like, I mean, the whole band was just.
Have you listened to it for fuck's sake? Did you listen
like,
to it? Yeah.
Well, yeah, like we made it short because the whole thing was just like a blast of energy. It was all just like early 20s naive
hook is the song
music.
The song is the hook.
Yeah.
It's so like, that's it. Yeah. It's like here it is. Boom. Have you heard of Guided by Voices? I mean, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. So we were always like, fuck a quiet part. You know, like the whole thing is gonna be the relatively quiet moment of the album is me screaming into a guitar pick.
Yeah.
Beautiful. We experimented with quiet parts when we wrote the trilogy, the 3 songs about vampires who tried to start a blood drive out of their van.
That's fantastic. Band. I love it. Yeah.
But no one really reacted to the slow parts. I think and then Song to Swing Back and Forth too, like in the Noose. It was always kind of rough to play compared to the other.
Yeah, we tried quiet moments and they just didn't hit. So we kind of ditched them.
Yeah. That's how that works.
Yeah. I mean, it was fun. I remember like we'd set up to play the show. Like we'd all be drunk within 30 minutes. And like just, I remember being so fucking hyped to start every show. It was just like so much fun. And it like every song is just like that feeling of being a 20-year-old that's just completely wired on, you know, it. That's what the band was. It burned hot. It felt a little short.
It felt a little dangerous, and I mean, not in like a literal. Anyone was afraid for their safety or anything, but like you didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah, it was ready to fall apart. We were playing at right at the edge of our abilities the whole time.
Yeah,
and like so we fucked up all the time.
And that was great though. I mean, it gave a great energy to the show, and that really comes through on this record. Like the record sounds pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, and to talk to Nate, we haven't talked about Nate at all. Like I'm
going to play Paying Bills, but yeah, talk about Nate.
We need to talk about Paying Bills next because we did do a music.
He hit the drums real hard.
Yes,
he hit the drums real hard, and I was always trying to get a bigger amp. Compete with it.
And we had to kind of court him from a punk band because they had bigger parties and more fans than we did.
Yeah,
and so we had to be like, well, our riffs are better, you know, and our songwriting's better, and luckily Jim Schroeder came into our lives, and so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go hang out with these guys. Jim became friends with us. Nate also wrote a couple lyrics too. I think he helped with. Oh, I can't remember what lyrics he helped. Do you remember what lyrics he helped with? Drew, off the top of your head. I think he helped me fill in a lot of gaps when I was struggling.
Did he help you with Killer Bees?
I bet so. Bet so. Paying bills. To talk about this, this is our only video, and I probably will not share it with you.
We had a video?
Remember we did this? I did a video class my senior
All
year.
right, yeah, you did a class project. Yeah.
And I had a little animation I did in Flash, if anybody remembers Flash MX. But it was this whole song, the lyrics and everything is about is if you were to replace money with high fives, and so secondary reinforcement would be high fives. So that's the thing, and that is in of itself has problems. And even in the video, I had a friend of mine who's an amazing artist, but he does not have hands or feet. So I was like, this is even a bad idea because he can't high five. You know, like capitalism is flawed. Is essentially
what's a high five now with inflation?
Oh my gosh, it's
22.
I don't have a yes and to that. That's a really good
22
setup.
at this point.
I had a yes.
So I think we're looking at 19. A 19 at least.
19.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High 19.
Anywho, but yeah, so this lyrics are essentially about capitalism is flawed, but I was very excited to do a music video, but it does not hold up. I would say. It's pretty bad.
Was there a story about Nate hitting the drums hard, or that was just like a general, he did that?
Just comment, Nate hit the drums very hard. It was hard to compete with him volume-wise.
Yeah, always. One thing,
So
there's a funny Nate story. So he too, like, he would zone out when he plays, and so when his girlfriend at the time would come, she'd be in the front and be like, "Hey Nate," but he'd be drumming and be looking right at her, and at the end of the song, he'd be like, "Oh hey, how are you? Thank you for coming." And she's like, "You were looking at me the whole time. What do you mean?" And it's like, "Oh, I'm not."
We met
Yeah,
Nate and Will. We met Nate and Will because they responded to a flyer that Tim and I put up in
An Axl Rose based
a
flyer.
bunch of. Axl was on the flyer for some reason.
it was a buddy
So
head
they
reference.
called Tim and we got together. We went over to Will's house and we jammed and we all just kind of bonded over like
Queens of Stone Age. And
Fugazi, Queens of the Stone Age, Stooges. I remember.
Will introduced me to Bitches Brew, which fucking blew my mind.
Bitches Brew, oh my god, seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, yeah. Okay. On the corner? This is on the corner?
Man. Oh, so good.
Jesus Christ. There's an album put out by, can't remember the name of the producer, but it's called Panthalassa. Sticks on the corner, takes a little bit of Bitches Brew, sticks a couple different things, and it mixes it all together, and he, like, does a complete remaster of it. Oh, Panthalassa is so genius. Oh my god. But yeah, Miles Davis, sorry. Had to jump in there. Okay.
The Live Evil album reminds me of this period of time when we were recording it. I think we were listening to that a lot around this time.
Yeah, so that's the ending lyric is this world must be all fucked up if paper is what equals life, basically. You need to talk to that guy back then in 2004 and be like, dumbass.
Plastic.
Yeah, well,
Make some
we
money.
were very broke at the time.
You're very anti-capitalism. I think we had a song called Coffee All Day, and now I drink coffee all day. So, the irony's real.
Yeah.
We got one
Yeah,
more. Is this the last one?
Yeah, one more. Ruckus Fuckus.
This
Which is kind of what a perfect title for a Rent Money Big song.
I love this riff, Drew, but it got old. This song did get old. We didn't like playing this all the time.
Yeah,
And I think our
you
friends.
Just,
Go ahead,
sometimes
Drew,
you just drive yourself insane with your own music.
I think our friend Stroop just absolutely loved this, and he wouldn't be at a show for most of it, and then he'd show up late and then come out of nowhere and be like, Ruckus Fuckus, and all of us like, oh, come on, Stroop, you weren't even here for the rest of the set. I do like the lyrics. They're just kind of silly, fun party lyrics. On your underground. On your stereo and on your underground. Very dumb. Other dumb and silly stuff.
We were all quite dumb.
I just, and Trev, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the writing process too, but in Rent Money Big, for me, it was always, I took notes from Mike Patton throughout my whole career. He's definitely a hero of mine. So happy I got to see Mr. Bungle last month. But he always would write noises first, and noises would turn into some words, and then those words would give you the theme that you were trying to write, and of course your life influences that too. But I'd always try to pull in Drew, like, Drew, you haven't written a song in a while, or he'd just show up with some lyrics, and I would just build on it or try to fit his weird architecture or civil engineer lyrics into a riff,
I find that if you write lyrics first, you write a bad song. If you write the song first and let the lyrics become what the song needs them to be, you will write a good song. You can write poems. Yeah, poems are fantastic. Yeah. You can write poems all fucking day long. Poems are great. But if you try to write a poem and then make it a song, you're gonna write a bad song. You've heard that a million times. But if you just let the song create the energy that it is, let that energy make you feel how you are, let that feeling create whatever the words are that you need to produce to understand that feeling, those are the lyrics that fit that song. You know what I mean? Those are the best lyrics for that song. You can't write a best song for certain lyrics. You know what I mean? Because how many songs have been written for a certain set of lyrics, or how many times has a song been rewritten or remade or whatever, And you always look back and you're like, wow, the original was actually the best. That's the one that I like the best. Out of all of the re-recordings of that, it's the original. That's the one I like the best. Maybe there's another one down the line where somebody really feels it, they really get it, they're putting themselves into it. But I rarely do I ever write a lyric first. It's always I might come up with an idea, maybe a line
or a phrase,
or a phrase, but at the most. Yeah.
Drew, how do you write? Yeah. I know you are a little more analytical with your writing, right?
Well, it took me a long time to figure out that a poem is different from a song. So,
absolutely.
Now I kind of just let I let the song develop phonetically. So the syllables, the sounds of especially the vowel sounds.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I let the vowel sounds that I'm hearing and feeling, that kind of guides what the lyrics turn into now.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
do you remember how you did it back in the day?
Very familiar.
Yeah,
because I remember taking a lot from you and Will, and sort of the lyrics did come first actually in that.
Yeah, so I would just write what I thought might work, and then you would actually make it work. So I don't really, I mean, it was all very collaborative, it was just kind of a big miasma of drunken stupidity. And we would pass lyrics and notebooks back and forth, and they would just kind of, you would mold them into something. So
you had a word orgy.
Yeah.
Word orgy. That's perfect.
Orgy.
Yeah. That's in the new Microsoft update.
In the AI.
The AI word orgy.
Clippy pops up and says, "It looks like you're trying to have an orgy. Would you like some help?"
Would you like some help? Yes. Let me invite others.
Yeah.
Oh, guys, I could do this all night.
Would you like me to go through your contacts list?
Please do.
Oh, God.
I see these don't have keys.
All right, I can do this all night, but I need to go help my wife with the kiddo. He sounds like he's being a terror.
It's cool. We'll wrap up. Great to see you, Tim. Take care.
This is what
I love you guys.
I love you, Tim.
This is what we've become.
Howie, Drew, I miss you guys.
Yeah. Good to see you, Tim.
Love you guys.
Say hi to your wife for me.
Say hi to your wife for me.
Show your wife hello.
Y'all too.
Cool. Well, we can wrap it up, guys, unless you have any final thoughts on proper flesh suits.
I just want to say that as far as the flesh suit is concerned, it's your time suit. It's the only way you exist in time. You wear your flesh suit, your time suit, and that's why you're here. Other than that, thank you so much for letting me hear the Rent Money Big stuff. I mean, I've heard some of it, but not all. Like not some of these songs. And goddamn, man, you guys were great. I really enjoyed it. That's what made me want Tim in the band, was hearing him there. It was like, yeah, dude, this guy gets the energy that we want to produce. And so I love what you guys did. And I was a little sad that you're not still doing it.
Thank you. Well, you know, we're all still making music. It's just kind of the realities of geography catch up with you. Of course, so,
man. Well, I stole him from you.
Yeah, well, no, that's good. Somebody's got to put him to use.
Yes, Timmy is he's a little battery that you got to like plug in.
Yeah,
and make sure that he energizes everything.
Yeah. I was actually thinking the other day, like if I was trying to write songs for this band, what would I do differently? And I kind of, for the first time since we broke up, I kind of realized what it was that we were doing, because it's like I can approach it from the context now of having made other music for 15 years. And like I feel like I finally have an appreciation for like what it was that we did. And I can kind of identify what made it different, what made it special. And like I feel like the thing that I'm most proud of is that it doesn't sound dated to the time that we made it. Like when we were making this, when we were making this record, it was like, you know, it was kind of there were a lot of like emo bands and
screamo, you know, like, emo, that type of stuff. Yes, for sure.
Yeah, and like the garage rock revival was going on. And I mean, it's not like we turned our noses up at that stuff. It's just
you wanted to do what you were doing, right?
There was there was no contrivance, you know, like we weren't trying to fit a certain mold, and we were just kind of doing what we did authentically. And I think that's why it doesn't. That's why when you hear it, you don't think, oh yeah, that sounds like 2004.
Yeah, and not a lot of bands at that time were embracing looseness and chaos, and you know.
Yes.
And you guys just really let it fly, and
we just went for it.
Yeah, that's what I want to ask you. One question, quick, Drew, that just occurred to me. But like, so the riffs and the different parts of the different songs, to me as a listener, feels very much like first thought, best thought. Like, just we need a part, the first idea that works, yes, and we're moving on. But is that how it went, or did you really kind of labor over the riffs? And
well, yes and no. I mean, the best stuff just kind of happened, and we didn't really have to think that hard about it. It's kind of like, I mean, I know we were pretty loose and chaotic, but at the same time, like we threw out a lot of ideas to arrive at what stuck. And everything was just really democratic. And we were always you know, we were always riding with everybody in the room. I would show up with ideas and sometimes with arrangements, but like it wasn't done until everybody had no complaints. And
Yeah, until everybody had their say, everybody played their parts. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and there was like there was a really good kind of like productive tension between everybody, and like people weren't like shy about saying, yeah, this isn't working, let's not do this. It was good, you know. It was a good relationship. I haven't ever had a band dynamic like that since, and it's just weird. It's so weird. I've never had anything just like that intensely collaborative since. I mean, like Howie, you and I have a good working relationship too, but it's like we just have personalities that like work with so little friction that like we just have a different kind of dynamic. But like,
yeah, there isn't that intensity, and I have had I don't think I've had anything quite as intense as Rent Money Big, you know, but I have had those collaborative relationships with more heat in them, and when there's an underpinning of respect, you know, that is really special when you can have both the heat and the respect at the same time.
Yeah, we all were happy to be able to play with each other, and we were also honest with each other, so got it. It worked out.
Perfect. Well, I think that's a great place to leave it. Travis, Drew, don't go anywhere. This is the show ending, but listeners, we're going to let you go. We'll be back next week is the plan with, I think I can say, Lefty Grove is coming on, and we're going to do kind of a overview with Lefty Ebony and his music over his whole life. And then in 2 weeks, we'll be back with my last show before I go on break, which we'll be listening to my album Frog on the King's Head, which I'm super excited to share with everybody. But until then, we have been the Long Play Listening Party. Later, everybody.
Bye.
Wow.